Why you always self-sabotage? The truth will set you free. But first, it will shatter everything you believe about yourself. The snake at the threshold. There is a strange pain that arises at the edge of change. You stand at the doorway of something you've longed for, a love that sees you, a calling that stirs your soul, a possibility that might finally redeem your years of wandering. Just before you cross it, you hesitate, you delay, you implode. The very thing you said you wanted becomes the thing you unconsciously sabotage. But why? Because at every threshold, there is a guardian. And more often than not, that guardian wears your face. The enemy within. Self-sabotage is not a mistake. It is not weakness. It is an act of protection by a part of you that learned long ago that thriving is dangerous. It may have been the child who spoke too loudly and was met with shame. The teenager who tried and failed and learned that effort was humiliating. The adult who was betrayed when they dared to be vulnerable. These are not abstract stories. These are the architectures of your nervous system. Memory encoded in muscle. Belief embedded in bone. And so, when success nears, when joy threatens to awaken you, the old protector rises, not to destroy you, but to keep you safe. The myth of Icarus. Remember Icarus, the boy who flew too close to the sun? We think of him as arrogant, but perhaps he was just curious. Perhaps he was just free, and the wax that melted wasn't his wings, but the inherited fear of flying. To self-sabotage is to melt your wings before you ever leave the ground. It is to preempt the fall by never allowing the rise. The comfort of the known. The psyche prefers familiar suffering to unfamiliar freedom. If all you've known is struggle, then joy feels alien. If all you've known is rejection, then love feels suspicious. If all you've known is failure, then success feels like betrayal. We cling to what hurts because it is home. The saboteur archetype. In Jungian terms, the saboteur is an archetype, a psychic force that exists in all of us. Its job is not to ruin your life, but to preserve your identity. Even a painful identity is still an identity, and the ego fears its dissolution more than anything else. So if you believe at your core that you are unworthy, then success contradicts your self-image, and that contradiction feels like death, your sabotage. The wound that speaks. Every act of self-sabotage is a cry from a younger self. I am scared. I don't believe I deserve this. I don't know who I am without my pain. If you do not listen to this voice, it will act out. Not because it is evil, but because it has no other way to be seen. Dreams of falling. Many people dream of falling just before a breakthrough. This is not coincidence. It is the psyche rehearsing its own expansion. To grow, we must die to who we were. And to die, even symbolically, is terrifying. The fall is not failure, it is initiation. So how do we stop sabotaging? Not through force, not through shame, but through ceremony. You must make space to meet the part of you that fears your growth. You must name it, sit with it, thank it for its protection. Then, you must ritualize your willingness to become someone new. Write a letter to the version of you that clings to the old story, burn it, weep. Dance. Bury something in the earth. Mark the passage. Do not just change your behavior, change your mythology. The phoenix choice. There is a fire that does not destroy, but transfigures. To step beyond self-sabotage is to walk into this fire, to let go of the known self. To trust that what emerges on the other side is not perfection, but presence. Self-sabotage ends not when we conquer ourselves, but when we finally befriend the frightened child within. The sacred threshold. So the next time you find yourself pulling away, just as things get good, pause. Ask, who within me is afraid? And then, gently, lovingly, take their hand. Walk with them across the threshold. Because you do not heal by becoming someone else. You heal by becoming wholly yourself. Even the parts that once tried to stop you. Understand that they were only trying to protect the light they forgot you carried all along.